a very important point you've just said. You said completely in sync about being in line, aligned together in terms of, you're on the same page, basically.
Yeah.
Was this a position you came to easily as a couple? Was it painful to get to that place? Or what did you have? You don't necessarily have to tell me everything, but I mean, what did you have to let go of in order to come to that space of oneness? Because this whole story we're telling is that there's a lot of journeying in coming together on being in that same space, that same headspace, that same page in terms of what you want to accomplish together as a couple. How easy was that for you?
So I'll share one thing. Let Shan share. I would say that the biggest let go for me in order to get on the same page with my wife consistently as we're going forward was selfishness.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that marriage did for me, I'm not sure if it's the same for everyone else, marriage was a great magnifier. And it showed me areas in me that I was not yet ready to work on that needed to be fixed and adjusted and healed. And that process is still ongoing now.
Right.
And so when I came face to face with my selfishness and decided that I had to deal with it if I wanted my marriage to be healthy, then there would no longer be this trade-off between prioritizing who I am and what I want and what I desire versus her and what we want. The slate is wiped clean, and now it's just what we have determined we're going to achieve together. That's a continuous process, yes, but I feel that even though we don't get it right all the time, make mistakes, I get upset often, despite all of those things, being able to come back to like central agreements, like this is what we fundamentally committed to each other.
Excellent. Shanoah, how has it been for you?
I would say the hardest part probably was helping Raphael to understand that I'm right.
I like that.
And the hardest part is me understanding that to be true.
I always remind him about when I ask him to do something. I think it was once he told me, I don't have to do it when you tell me to do it. And then I told him, but there is a reason why I'm telling you to do it now.
At that particular time.
And then I feel like that you could apply that to every situation so that when he finally realized, well, shoot, she's right.
Yes.
So now, like if I ask him to do something or I suggest something, no, he will pause or he will do it or whatever. And for me, like that was the hardest part, just to get through to him. Like we are both going in the same direction. We both want the same thing.
The same
I
team.
want what's best for you.
Right.
You want what's best for me. We are not in a competition. And as soon as that is clear, even though you're not intentional about it, I feel that's something that you have to like unlearn and then relearn. This person actually wants what is best for me. And as soon as you understand that, then it's very easy to like walk in sync with the person.
Excellent observations. You've painted an excellent picture of working through your marriage and coming out the better for it. I love what you said just now, Raphael, because that's the same thing for me, that marriage. I say this all the time. I wouldn't like to be married to me. I'm glad that I'm married to a man who stretches me, who pulls the best from me. In a way, I to be married to someone who's exactly like I am. I wouldn't want that. I'd find that extremely boring. So I love the fact that I have a man who pulls, who stretches me, who causes me to grow, who causes me to develop, change. And that has been my story over the years, as I'm sure, hoping it is for him as well, right? But everybody's not in that position. There's several of us, several people who are unhappily married. And they're struggling with this element of being steady or of feeling settled. Even though the marriage is there, they've signed on the dotted line, they don't feel that sense of steadiness. What advice do you have for them?
I would say for sure, you have to remember that the person that you married in year one is not going to be the same person. They will continue to evolve, and you have to allow them to evolve. And then you yourself should grow too. And that is like if you have the same person in your head that you married at the beginning, then y'all will definitely clash because you're not giving the person a chance to change. Yeah. So there definitely needs to be like a foundation of love, so that regardless of who the person becomes, you know that you have a foundation of love, so that you can still love the person even though they are not the same person that you married.
I love that, and I 100% agree. I'll say that a key to staying steady for us has been that moving from a premise that this person has my best interest at heart. Even when what she says does not come over in that way, she may not finesse it ultimately the way I'd like to hear it. I remember one time, let me share a story quickly, Denise. I had a big project, the biggest project I had ever done up until that time.
Yeah.
And I prepared these presentations, and I prepared these workbooks and so on for the clients and all that.
Yeah.
I printed them, I came upstairs, I was so fussy. And I laid these things out on the table, and I said to her, look, babe, you know, I got this big client, obviously she knows about it. And she looks at the thing, she said, that's what you can again, the people? I was gutted. What she was really trying to communicate to me, though, is not that the quality of the content was bad.
But the presentation.
It was that, no, we got to present that better.
Better.
If these people are paying you X,
Yes.
you can't come with these little flimsy pieces of thing and no, that ain't gonna do.
Yes, yes.
And what she did the next morning, bright and early, which is why I'm reinforcing the person that has your best interest at heart. We drove down to Brighton's Express, and she bought folders. And we sat in the car, and I was driving to the location where the event was, and she was putting all of those papers in folders and packing them and so on for all of the
excellent.
clients.
So you worked as a team.
So
excellent.
I feel like, you know, somebody has your best interest at heart, work from that foundation. Don't assume the worst, assume the best.
Yes.
And then the next thing I'll say is you gotta protect what you have.
Yes.
You can't stay steady if your marriage is constantly under unnecessary threat. The enemy busy, we all know that, right? But even beyond the enemy, sometimes I feel like we might be indiscriminately exposing our relationship to foolishness. And I feel like we gotta protect what we have. We gotta understand boundaries. We gotta trust when our spouse tells us to draw a boundary. Just draw the boundary. Don't overthink. She might see the woman as a whole. You might not see her as one.
That's right.
But she might be one.
Yeah.
So just draw.
We are usually right. We are usually right. That's right.
So I feel like if you value what you have enough, you'll protect it without unnecessary drama and questioning.
That's right. Excellent.
So steady, one, by remembering and working from this premise that the person has your best interest at heart, and two, by being diligent and deliberate about protecting what you have.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Steady